Welcome to the North Shore Schools Foundation Legacy Series. We've been trying to offer some educational information about some great ways that you can support the important work we do. And then today we're adding in some really cool, much more interesting information. We're going to have President Anthony Moran do a little bit of interview with Ari Salehpour, who's, basically our favorite kid, although he's not a kid now, he's a grown up, and I always have to say that. Joining us today are Linda Humphrey and Becky Birch, who are members of our committee. And also, I assume Brittany Slater-Boutreau will be jumping on in a minute. And then, of course, it says audacious changes, but really, we never want her to change. It's Hannah Mahan, who's our philanthropy director and who does all the important work for our legacy work. So if you're not familiar, the work of a legacy committee in a nonprofit like ours is to make sure that we are around forever. It's important work. The work that we do has to be around for kids years after years after years. I'm an alumni, Ari's an alumni, everybody I know is an alumni. North Shore is going to keep being an amazing place for our students forever, and they always are going to need our help. And so when you invest in the endowment, you are investing in making sure that every kid moving forward gets the same, actually gets better and better, I think, support from their community. That's really what the foundation does. We really focus on connecting the community with our schools in ways that are meaningful for them, which is why all of these people are here volunteering, because they have a direct connection with the work of the district, and that they want to make sure that this work is always there. So we're going to kick off today with a pretty amazing, I think it's amazing. I'm a little biased, of course, but we're going to give you a minute to hang out with Anthony, who is my boss. Can you believe it? Somebody actually has that title. I think it's really fun. He's going to interview Ari, who would probably like to be my boss. About Ari's experience with the nonprofit, with the foundation, and a little bit of our story. So I'm going to let them kick it off. I'm going to switch us to speaker view. So if you are not Anthony or Ari, will you please go to mute? Anthony, take it away.
Take it away. Well, it has been a great deal of fun serving as Miss Carmen's boss, as she says, which basically means she tells us what to say, we tell her, and then she does what she wants to do anyway, which makes the whole thing run perfectly. And I have it on good authority that we just broke 1 million on a running. So it's been a great year for us. And it is all because of you and because of the work that our community does to support us in our outreach. And part of that support goes directly to the students, which brings me to Mr. Ari, who was a beneficiary of one of our scholarships and also speaker at one of our events, and has become a board member with the foundation and has really helped the board and Carmen and I to see through a different set of eyes of how the foundation appears to the students which we support, which has helped us craft our messaging and also understand how important it is and how, I would say, literally life-changing we can be for some of the students within the district. So on that, I will introduce Mr. Ari Salehpour and let him tell us a little bit about his situation and how he found us.
Well, hi guys, my name is Ari Salehpour, and I used to be a student in the North Shore School District almost all my life. I started in elementary school at Fernwood, then I went to Skyview Junior High, which is now Skyview Middle School, which is pretty weird to say. And then I graduated at the class of 2020 at North Creek High School. And so I've been in the North Shore School District almost all my life, and I actually never knew about the foundation till high school. I believe it was my junior year, and I was in this, I was in a physiology class because I wanted to go into pre-medicine. I wanted to go become a doctor. And I was taking some classes at North Creek that were offered to me. And at first, so we have a club called HOSA, which is about the future health professionals of America. and I wanted to join the club, but unfortunately I had about 4 surgeries before that, and my family and me were struggling to keep up with the medical bills. And I never knew there was anything like North Shore Schools Foundation at the time out there to help kids like me. But I instead just went to my teacher and asked if there was any scholarships or grants, and she said she would let me know. Almost a week later, I get a check covering my entire club fee, as well as helping me pay for the ticket to go to Spokane and compete for HOSA. And I ended up getting about, I think, 4th place in one of the national competitions for state, which was pretty awesome. So, yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Excellent. So when did you first meet Carmen?
So I first met Carmen actually I first heard of Carmen, the legendary Carmen, at HOSA when she gave me a call asking me to be a speaker for the North Shore Schools Foundation annual event. I forget the name of what it's called. So
Our luncheon.
or the North Shore School Foundation luncheon.
Yeah, I think that's where I first met you also.
Mm-hmm.
Was at the luncheon.
Yep.
And
so
you were nervous at first, but you rocked it, as I remember.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember
you
I literally got up there.
wowed our audience. So thank you for that.
It was a pleasure.
What did you learn from being able to participate in HOSA and in the competition?
In the competition, I learned a lot. I not only learned about medicine, but I also increased my network. I met one of the advisors on the actual health on the UW medical application department. So he approves who goes to med school, who doesn't, and he reviews it. And I actually met him, got his phone number, and stayed in touch with him after. So that was huge for me. So that was just life-changing in it itself, because now I had someone who I could go to learn from, which would change my life forever.
That's amazing. And so without the foundation, that would have been something you would not have been able to do.
Yeah. Without the foundation, I would have never, if my teacher got back to me and said, oh, we can't find any funding, I would have never done that club, and that door would just be left closed for me.
Wow.
So thankfully
That's
to
awesome.
the foundation, they opened that door and millions of other doors too after.
Well, I'm glad we're able to help with that. So what would you tell other students, high school or otherwise, about what kind of benefits the foundation can offer them, long-term, short-term?
I think the most straightforward thing I would say is the foundation can change your life. Like after I came back from HOSA, I had a bunch of friends who were sort of in the same positions as me, except they never asked for any help or aid to do these clubs. And I just kept telling them, I'm like, the foundation, you need to go here. Trust me, to reach out.
Nice.
So I think, the foundation will change your life is what I would say to students, because it has for me.
Awesome. So what are you doing now?
So now I'm in school. Currently, I'm enrolled at Cascadia, and I'm about to transfer out to a 4-year. I also run a little business on the side, which is called Mindful Marketing, which is my digital marketing company.
Cool. So you're saying you've already graduated from Cascadia? Or
I graduate next quarter. So I will get my 2-year degree next quarter, and then I will be transferring to a 4-year.
And you graduated in 18?
So I graduated
high
in
school.
2020, but I did running start.
Ah, okay. Very, very cool. So you took advantage of running start, got a bunch of college credits, and were able to leverage that. I like it. Where do you plan on going? Where do you hope to go?
I plan on going to either UW or Western Washington University.
Nice. Very nice. Cool. Well, how do you feel about being the first student member of the board? How was that?
It was awesome. It was, at first I was intimidated just because I'm like, oh, now I'm in a room full of adults. But everybody was so warm and receptive, and everybody made me feel like my opinions and ideas were taken into account. So it was pretty awesome. And it was just cool seeing, because when I started getting more involved with the foundation, I realized they've been with me since elementary school.
Was that kind of
They were
surprising
funding
to find
programs
out?
I didn't even know were programs. I just thought were normal.
Right, right. Yeah, I think we did a thing where we look back through what we have done, and we touch students each year, every student at least once throughout the district. So it's kind of an amazing reach, and it's just quiet. It's on the backside. And so, again, many students don't understand or know that. So it's part of the reason why having a student on the board has been awesome. And I think we have a student council now that we have started up this year. Carmen's got going with your help, I believe, and that's been neat to get off the ground. So any parting words, anything else you'd like to share out there to let people know?
I think I just sort of like to reiterate the message again that the North Shore Schools Foundation truly changed my life. The amount of people I met, not only just through HOSA, but after, just all the people who support the North Shore Schools Foundation, as well as people in the foundation, they changed my life. They've opened so many opportunities and have helped me through so many hardships after that I really don't know where I would be without them. So
awesome.
I'm very grateful to everyone at the North Shore Schools Foundation and to all the donors.
Well, we are super grateful to have you as part of our organization, and quite happy to have met you and helped you on your path. And we very much look forward to where you're going to go and how much you're going to provide for the legacy when you're rich and famous. So it'll be great. It's like a little investment program. So thank you again for being part of this forum tonight. And we'll pan back to Carmen.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's truly been a joy. And truly, Ari and I got to spend quite a bit of time prepping for the luncheon. And then, now I'm friends with his mom, and we're like hanging out. I really enjoy it. And it makes work better. And he did really inspire us to build this advisory board, which literally kicked off on Thursday, that allows, and we also learned from Ari that it's really a lot more fun to get a sophomore or junior involved than a senior, so that we get a chance to kind of build relationships. So we had 7 kids representing 4 of the high schools at that meeting, and we still have some spots for North Shore Network, SAS, and Innovation Lab High School. If you have a sophomore and junior in that you want to have join us, it's going to be cool work. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of the things that they're coming up with that we can do to be more relevant, and it's exciting. So I am grateful. Well, thank you, Anthony, also for your service, being a board member. Becky's also been a board member. It's kind of a, I don't know, and also used to be my boss of me, it's a hard job. I mean, it takes a lot of time, and you have to balance out your family and your friends and make this a priority. But because you do, so many students are getting supported. So that's pretty cool. Well, I guess I want to end today with I'm going to put a link into the chat, which you may or may not see, or just remind everybody that they should do a quick little Google check. So if you are somebody who is doing an investment at the end of the year, if you've been blessed this year, if you are someone who does philanthropy as part of your life, it's really important that you take a minute and you check out how the CARES Act has changed charitable deductions this year. It's significantly different. So they have, one of the biggest things is that you can deduct much more. I think it's 100% up to $100,000. I don't know. You got to check out the details. This is Carmen deal, but I can tell you, usually for the last couple of years, there's been a cap on how much you could actually write off. And this year that cap has been lifted, just as one of the ways to help with economic relief. And in these times that are really challenging, of course, we want to help our government all the ways we can, but you can also help your government by having better schools directly through the North Shore Schools Foundation. So I want you to take a minute and think about, as your end of year comes for you, that if you're making investments, if you're looking at your taxes, and you kind of have to do it now, it's not something you can do in January when you look at your taxes. You really need to think about it now and think about if, oh goodness, am I going to have a big tax bill this year? And do I want to offset that with some charitable donations? as you may know, the foundation is building an endowment fund. We have a long ways to go, a long ways to go. We have a goal. We're at 280,000 right now. We're hoping to be at 500,000 by 2025, but really we need to be 2.5 million in order for this to be an actual viable option and to provide us the kind of safety net that we would need. If this continues, there's so many nonprofits that are crashing right now, and our kids are going to need us every day. Our kids are going to need us a lot in the future. And so your investment in this endowment is really a huge part of our life and our longevity and your longevity. We always invite, I mean, it's called legacy because we want people to think about what they want to leave behind, what they want to be memorable for, what they want to have people, what's an expression of you. And when you have given your life to education, or your experience in your K-12 North Shore life did change your life, like this is where you leave it so that you can inspire and fund things like that have affected kids like Ari and, you know, dozens and dozens and hopefully hundreds and hundreds of other ones. So I want you to Google, because I'm just, you know, everyone knows pretty clearly that I should not give financial advice, except for that you can make donations to us and I will say thank you and we will do good work with it. That's what I can guarantee. But please take a minute and do some research on that. And I'm actually going to, Becky, do you want to give us a quick update of all the things you know? Because I know this is your kind of specialty. So I'm going to just tag out and let Becky give you a couple hints just as an investor to into our endowment.
Okay, well, thank you, Carmen. I do know that about required minimum distributions. You are not required to take them this year because of COVID. But if you do want to take one, you could help the foundation out by having the money sent directly to the foundation. Don't stop it anywhere else. And it will be a tax deduction for you because it will not add to your taxable income. And as Carmen said, we would put it to great use. You can also donate stock and any other investments that you want to give to the foundation. Again, those would be tax deductible and would affect your taxes. So to make them lower, which you just might want. As usual, you want to check with your financial advisor and your CPA to review your personal situation to see what makes the best sense for you and your family. And anything you can do to help us would be really appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Linda, I'm just going to call on you since we're doing this. Is there anything you want to add in about your lifetime at North Shore and why you're involved in this and what people should do as they're moving forward? You got to unmute though.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to add, you know, we moved to Bothell in 1954 and I started 4th grade in the old school up on the hill, if any of you have ever heard of that. So I've been in North Shore for a very long time. Not only did I graduate from Bothell High School, I then went away to college and came back and did most of my career in North Shore School District. So I've got a very, very long history with North Shore. And the reason is that they do such a super job. They're quality people, quality programs, and the whole goal all the way through, I don't care what school you're at, has been good people serving kids for the best possible future they can have. And therefore, even though I'm retired from North Shore, I now serve in volunteer capacities in ways to help keep that mission moving forward. And when I was working, the mission statement that is still present, and I retired 23 years ago, okay, I'm heading into 24 years now. I was responsible for the strategic plan of North Shore School District and grants and staff development, and the mission, strengthening our community through excellence in education, is still the mission of North Shore School District. And my committee and I created that when I was working. I am so pleased to see that still standing. I guess that's sort of part of my legacy to North Shore, but also in any way that I can help the endowment and the foundation continue on past my life and on to the torchbearers of the next generation, that's why I'm involved. It's a good place to be and a good project to be involved with. And as you can tell, I have great passion for the district, and I've been here a long time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate finding a place for you to play together. It's wonderful to be in your circle. Anna, do you want to have anything? You want to have any final thoughts just to end our day and say smart things? Because that's what Anna does.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you, Carmen, and everyone. I have some thoughts because I'm realizing that some of our listeners or people tuning in may not be familiar with why we have an endowment. You know, endowments serve many different purposes. So Becky was one of the founders, and the purpose of this endowment is to raise operational funds so that we can, all the money that's raised during the year goes directly into programs for kids. Like the program Ari went to, like those programs that were operating in the background that Ari didn't even know about. And this year, you know, it was mentioned that we hit 1 million. Well, that was because that's like mostly pouring out into the community who needed so much more help this year. So when you give to the North Shore School District Endowment, you're actually helping on make sure that we can sustain the operations to give money for those programs and operate and conduct those programs every year. So that's what I want to say. And I think that's just really, I love it. I was going to say brilliant. I don't know if it's brilliant, but it certainly is important. It makes a lot of sense. So thank you everyone for watching, and thanks everyone who's given to the foundation or to the endowment or is going to give this year and next year.
It's great. And if you happen to be a North Shore School District employee, check your email tomorrow. One of our local lawyers is offering a pretty cool deal for employees of the district. And so we'll be sending that out to you if you're in our mailing list, and want to let you know about that. And it's actually one of the simplest things I always like to tell people. I mean, if you haven't done an estate plan, you need to. There's just never a reason to not have one, especially in the state of Washington. And there's this little box that says, if you can't leave your money anywhere else, choose a nonprofit. And at the very least, we'd love you to just put our name there. And if you do, please let us know, because we'd like to make you part of our Legacy Society. So everybody have a great night. I want to thank Anthony and Ari for their leadership and their sharing, and also for Becky and Linda for, you know, your on the cuff brilliance, and of course Anna for all your coordinating work to make this work. Okay, everybody, good night, have fun, and we will connect again soon.